Alright, I'm live. Welcome. This is day number 31 of building my business till 10k a month. Here's what we have so far. Oh yeah, let me... no, not this one. Where's my... Oh yeah, so what we have so far. We have so far this website, right? Get certification, blah blah blah. The idea is what we are building. We are building a coding school. In this coding school, everyone should go and be able automatically go from no idea about coding into being a Salesforce developer. Now it's important that it's focused on the Salesforce development, not on the other fields. No, Salesforce development, because I've been working as a Salesforce developer for the last 4 years, and I notice how hard it is for people to actually go and learn how to code on Salesforce. The way we do it in Salesforce ecosystem is that we send people to learn Java, Python, JavaScript, all the other languages, and then they go back and try to relearn everything that they learned on the Salesforce platform. That sucks. That shouldn't be this case. People should be able to go from complete beginner in coding into being a Salesforce developer on a certain platform. And you know what? Such platform doesn't exist anymore. Wait, what did I say? Doesn't exist so far. Here we go. I'm obviously not native in English, right? So this platform doesn't exist so far, and I will be the first one who will build such a platform. And that's gonna be killer, and that's gonna be awesome. I'm sure about that. So what we have so far? So far I have this website, right? And we implemented recently, Sasha, not me, Sasha implemented the login here. So I can log in here if I need to create account, and I log in, sign in. Why is it not signing in? Okay, it was signed in. Okay, so here I logged in, and now I can go to the modules and see the modules. We have the whole first module with 12 lessons. Now we have most of the second module, I would say almost everything. We don't have the tasks for the second module though, and the reason for that is because tasks are hard to implement technically for this one. They're gonna be a little bit different from... Okay, so they're not hard to implement, they're just a little bit different to implement in comparison to the first module. So we're not gonna implement it right now before the MVP, because the goal is to ship the product and get the feedback and actually get the revenue going. Because if we never develop, if we never ship the platform, all of this doesn't matter. If we never ship, if we never get the revenue going, all of this doesn't matter at all. What buttons we have, what style do we have tasks, we don't have tasks, doesn't matter. We need to get revenue in and profits. Otherwise the whole business is gonna fail. So I don't think it's gonna be the case, but we do need to ship it as quick as possible with as big quality as possible. So we have here Sokol, and now I'm working here on this part. And we implemented this login logout thing because turns out that some people were using the platform. They were using the platform for free, which they were not intended to do. Here we go. I mean, that exists. I knew it's gonna happen. That's why I blurred here the URL, because previously you were able to access the platform just by going to the URL. That's it. Like you could go to the URL and you could just type the URL and go to the platform. which actually not a lot, just a few people did. And that sucks. That is not the best move that people can do. But I knew it's gonna happen. I knew something like this could happen. But now we finally have registration process, so now you cannot go and just do the whole platform. I need to approve you in the database, and therefore I have a whole control around who can access the platform and who can't. So now only those people that I allow can access it, which is nice. Let me change the thumbnail here. I wanted to watch this guy. Let me upload the thumbnail here. Thumbnail. And of course, as always, the coffee. Okay, looks like you guys are already tuning in. Looks like you're tuning in. Let's check. So the plan for today for me would be... Today. Here we go, today. I would say I want to finish triggers. And by finish triggers, so yesterday I have spent a lot of time writing triggers, and I finished all the articles. So look at this. This is all written by me yesterday, right? And today, a little bit in the morning. So that's nice, but we still need to give here tasks. And again, the same problem as with SOQL queries for this one, for simple Apex. The problem is that with triggers, it's very, very hard in the way we check the tasks now. It's very hard to check them. We really can't. So we're gonna need to implement other way of checking if I wanna implement automatic task checking for the triggers, which we're not gonna do because we focus on shipping the product in whatever however it looks like now. We're gonna need to ship it in that way. It's already good enough to ship. It's already more than everything out there in Salesforce ecosystem. It's already so much better than every single existing course or program or everything or Trailhead or any other program out there for Salesforce ecosystem. It's already better. I don't want to make it perfect right now. I'm gonna make it perfect as soon as we ship and have some revenue. So out of this revenue, I'm gonna make it perfect. But for now, I think it's good enough. So the plan for today is finish triggers, which means tasks. So we need to create few I would say scenarios probably for triggers or tasks, we can call it different ways, and upload to WordPress and upload to database. This is the task. So if I finish it today, that's gonna be awesome. And I don't have that much today time actually, because I only have 2 hours today because I have a student in the middle of the day at 1. So I'm gonna need to make the break there in the middle of the day to go and actually do the mentoring part that I'm doing. Because if I stop doing mentoring, I'm gonna have 0 money. So that's the plan. Before we go into hard stuff, I want to see what this guy is saying. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna watch the whole 23 minutes. Or other way around. I'm super sure I'm not gonna watch all 23 minutes, but I want to see a few statements what he makes, because that seems to be quite a popular video. So let's try to do that. Let's do that.
Welcome to my channel.
Wait, can you hear that?
My name is Josh, and today I'm going to be talking about the major layoffs happening in tech and what I think is actually the cause behind them. Let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is what's been kind of on everybody's mind, which is AI. You always constantly see articles and people talking now everywhere around the internet about how AI is going to replace programming jobs. Now, I'm probably going to have to make a totally separate video about this particular topic because it's such a big topic. But the truth is, I think that is a pretty minor reason why people are being laid off right now. When we look at...
Yeah, right now. So AI is definitely now the cause of the layoffs. And definitely not the reason for that much downturn on the more people without a development background to actually write some code. Which I'm a good example of, right? I'm not really good with Next.js, but I was able to write a Next.js website using a lot of ChatGPT and a lot of help of you guys. But still, I was able to do that. So AI is, yeah, it's coming, but it's coming. It's coming. I think that not this year, but maybe in 2-3 years, AI could be the reason why the tech market is not growing that much. And I think especially for the junior positions.
At the big tech companies, which I'm going to get into in a minute, and why they're doing these huge layoffs, I think there's something maybe much deeper that's rotten at the core. And I think probably the most significant things are things people aren't really talking about or thinking about. So I'm going to get into that in a few minutes, but I just want to kind of get the AI out of here for the moment. If you've ever used Google Bard, or if you've ever used ChatGPT to actually program and make stuff, you would know that it's not going to replace programmers anytime soon. Actually, AI isn't new. We talk about it like it's new because it's finally, it's gaining public access, right? People are finally able to use it to write stories, to plagiarize things, whatever. But when we really look at AI, it's been used for well over 20 years in aviation. It's been used for routing, pathing, all sorts of stuff. It's just finally people and the public have access, so they seem to think it's this new thing. Well, no, it's been replacing jobs for decades. It's not really new, and it's not going to replace programmers anytime soon. Not in.
That's not true. That's not true. I disagree with that a lot. AI is new. AI is new in that with these capabilities. Like we didn't have AI that were able to. Here's an example. Here's how I was using AI before. Create Notion table. I paste a screenshot here into the ChatGPT and say, hey, can you give me this code? Give me code. From my own screenshots, I use these screenshots in Canva, and then I wanna get the code from the screenshots. And I'm using ChatGPT for that. And this possibility wasn't there 3 years ago. And then what I say, hey, can you also write me a test? Can you write me a test for this piece of code? And then it writes me the test. These things, they didn't exist. Yes, it's nothing that's gonna replace developers, but those are very small like productivity increases for everyone who is using AI. So I'm so sick of people neglecting the impact of AI. Like this, whenever you hear like this guy saying, "Oh, AI, that's blah blah blah. It's not that good. It's not there yet." Yes, but it is so good now. Like you like, come on, how cool it is that you can. Who has the ChatGPT on their iPhone or smartphone or mobile? Like you can go and chat with your mobile in just normal language. Like this is so awesome. And that didn't exist. Like it's very new. It's not like it existed. So this guy don't neglect the AI. And the thing is, with every type of automation, whenever you have an automation that, for example, you want to automate developers, right? The automation is basically zero until you develop it fully, right? Or with any business process that you're trying to automate for a company, especially with the Salesforce, right? So in Salesforce, I was working 4 years. I used to the process that you're developing something for, let's say, 5 months. And if you look at the production, if you look at what is it used by the client, it's zero in these 5 months. But there's a lot of work happening. And for 5 months, there's a zero that is automated. But then when you go public with your project, suddenly it switches from 0 to 100% on certain things. The same thing happening with AI now. Yes, AI is not replacing developers yet, but that's exactly this type of automation that's going. And who knows, maybe at some point they're gonna release a GPT developer, and it's gonna go from 0 automated developers to 100% automated developers. Possible. Can you recap what you're building? I'm building a coding school. Where you can go and read the theory and solve a lot of different tasks, like here automatically, and they will be automatically checked. That's what I'm building. But yeah, that's what I'm building. Let's see.
Entirely, at least. If you work and, let's say you are a web developer that does HTML, CSS, and that's it, yeah, there's a possibility your job could be in danger, maybe eventually, but certainly not anytime soon. And people that do hardcore logic, anything low level, anything C or assemblers, AI is just super inaccurate. Plus, the other thing too is the way AI works is it just resources public knowledge, right? AI doesn't really creatively solve problems the way people seem to think it does. It tries to solve problems based on data sets that are already developed, which means it can really only effectively solve problems that have already been solved. And the whole point.
This is not true. Not true at all. Like I don't understand how people cannot see that AI is coming for their jobs. I just don't understand it. This is just how you call it. This is just neglecting. This is kind of like he just convincing himself that that's not gonna happen. It's gonna happen. AI is not doing any new knowledge. That's not true. I think I don't remember what was this Forbes article. AI uh, mineral exploration. I think there were like news that deep learning advanced exploration. I think there was news that Google, I think DeepMind. So why are you building the coding school anymore? I am building the coding school. Alpha code. Yeah, I mean one of the things is alpha code, right? So alpha code can program and it can solve programming stuff better than definitely many of us. You take the average developer now, right now, the AI exists that can develop or solve tasks better than this average developer. And this is how people are still denying it. It's just such a denial phase for a lot of people. Like AI slowly, if you look at the last 5 or 10 years, AI slowly knocking out people out of all the fields. Like it starts slow. It starts with chess. It starts with games. It starts with Tetris, and then we go into the cancer into the like cancer detection. Then we go into programming, and like this one by one, just people are knocked out by AI. AI outperforms uh, already people in a lot of cases. And even look at the ChatGPT, which is not the highly specialized AI, right? But it has knowledge more than every single human. I think it will come for the jobs, but it will be like WordPress. WordPress does everything for you. Still, developers making 200K with WordPress. For the moment, it can't solve problem by itself. Yes, it can't. But here's the thing: that's coming. Like, it's not so difficult to write AI. Even now, it does exist. Look at the ChatGPT, right? So I think here, look at this one. Um, no, not on this one. This. Yeah, this is perfect. Like I have a data set of it's not displayed here, but this is I have a data set of people who took the course, the free course that I have, like my lead magnet, right? Um, and I said to ChatGPT, hey, can you analyze it? It wrote some code and it executed the code. Then something went wrong, right? So error analyzing. So here was some error. So when it ran the code, it saw that the error has happened, and then it says, oh, okay, seems there's an error. Let me try to incorporate the changes from this error that I think gonna improve the code, and then let me run it again. And then it produced a new code. It ran the code again, and then again the error, and then it was like, okay, let me run it again and write, and then it basically turned off, right? But if you continue like this for quite a time, this is exactly how we develop all the programs. You just need to have a smart enough AI, GPT-5, GPT-6, let's say, and just let it say, hey, just write the software. It's gonna execute the software, run it, test it, check that it actually does what people requested, and that's it. And that's it. Like, it's not coming yet. It's not there yet. It's not gonna happen next year. But it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. There's nothing that's gonna prevent AI from taking over developers. And people are a lot in denial. But which doesn't mean, you see, the thing is that it doesn't, even if AI takes over developer, it doesn't mean we have to prepare it a certain way, because if AI will be smart enough to take over programmers, we will be living just in a different world. Because it's such a bottleneck for humanity now to write programs. It takes a lot of time, it is costly, it's like super expensive to write software. If we can lower the cost of the software by like 100 times, and we're still gonna need developers, but I think the developer role gonna be different, right? If we can lower by 100 times, we can advance humanity so much, and I hope it's gonna happen. Even if I'm developer, and I'm developing a coding school, right? So I don't expect AI to take over the world in the next let's say 5 years, but at some point it's gonna happen. And it's totally not true what I totally disagree with this guy. I mean, it might be true, but I totally disagree with the guy that AI is just basically like a monkey that is replicating whatever you some common knowledge. Okay, what do you write there? AI have been a thing for several years now. Yeah, I mean, it's been a thing for quite a time, but it becomes so advanced only in the recent years since ChatGPT. Have you tried the Arc browser? Yes, I tried it and I switched to Edge. There will be always that one guy with a startup idea who needs a developer. Yeah, that's always gonna be. But the best part, I definitely know that now there are people who can, with a little coding knowledge, you can already do so much more now with the ChatGPT than you used to be able to do even 1.5 years ago. Like that's not a huge time frame.
The whole point of hiring a programmer, for the most part, is that your company or your needs are going to be specific to that product. Now, I make games. That's my job. I've tried to use AI to help with my game development, especially like hardcore logic programming problems. And I've just found it's just not very good. Sometimes it's helpful on some things. It's a good resource for a programmer to have, but it is not going to be replacing programmers dramatically anytime soon. It is a small factor. It is part of the reason why some companies are looking to the future and saying we need to start laying off unnecessary staff, because in the future, and they're anticipating that, this may replace certain jobs. But again, I think this is kind of a very small part of the reason why some people are being replaced. So I just wanted to kind of get that out of the way, get your concerns out of the way. Again, I'll make a whole video on this and why it's not going to replace people, not truly later, but you don't need to worry about AI. That's not the major factor here. So another thing that it could possibly be is preparation for a looming recession. Most people that work in economics will tell you, as we speak, you see it all over the news, that a recession is probably coming. Stock values can only go up so high for so long before something has to collapse, right? It's the rules of entropy or gravity. Things can only get better and go up, and then eventually they have to come down. We look at interest rates, for example, and that's a good place to start your search if you think there's an economic recession coming soon. Professionals and people that are analysts see interest rates and they see that.
Well, I thought we are already in recession. I don't wanna a recession coming soon. I thought we are in the recession, and that we are coming out of the recession. That's what I hoped.
See that as a concern. Companies, of course, hire their own economists, and the economists are going to be going to the CEOs and going to the CTOs and people that handle hiring managers, hiring departments, hiring companies, whoever they outsource that to. And they're going to say, look, a recession is coming. We need to start doing minor layoffs slowly. And we have seen some of those. But again, of these big, major layoffs that we're seeing right now, I don't think that this is the biggest factor. I do think it's a factor, just like AI is a factor, but it's not the big one. So that's the thing I want to get into. Now, as I start to talk about this, and as I start to go deeper into the problem, it's going to become more clear the more you start to look at people's critical roles in their company.
Oh my god, I like this video is definitely not made for current way of watching videos. Like I need like quick, like give me in 30 seconds. We have spent on this video 5 minutes. Where is the juice? Where's the actual video?
The real and major factor that's causing a lot of these layoffs, I really do seem to think is being overlooked, because people are so used to the way the tech industry works now that nobody seems to question it anymore. What's been happening in tech about the last 20 years is what I like to call a hyper specialization for roles, right? 20 or 30 years ago, if you were a programmer and you knew a couple programming languages, or maybe even one, maybe you were a generalist, you could get basically any programming job. Companies were hiring based on the fact that you knew how to program and that you understood logic and you understood, generally speaking, how computer science works and how to make products that are useful for that company. That's not how it works anymore, because
It does. Like it does. If you have someone who is a really good developer, you're gonna hire them. Like you're gonna I know people who, like, we, especially in the Salesforce ecosystem, we have such a shortage of people who are good developers, then we're gonna hire whatever developer you are and then train you on the Salesforce. So it still works the same. I mean, probably not to the same degree, because I cannot speak about the last 20 years because I haven't been on the market. I've been playing video games because I was 4 years old. But definitely still happening so far. Like I remember we on my last job we hired someone, or we made definitely a lot of offers for people who were developers in other niches, but they were good developers there. We knew that they are good developers and we wanted to get them. They declined, but that's another story.
Because somewhere along the way, big companies like Facebook, I think Snapchat is a particular offender. I'll talk about that in a minute. They started to realize that they could grow their companies artificially if they started hiring more people than they really need. Most tech companies, most social networks could be managed by shockingly small teams of programmers. Now, I'm not talking about legal, I'm not talking about HR, resources, other things that are considerations as well, but just the actual tech that goes into an app for iOS. Let me give you an example, say Instagram or Snapchat. I think it would surprise most people how few programmers it actually takes. A lot of these social networks were developed originally by one person, but now for some reason you look at a company like Snapchat, who even uses Snapchat anymore. They still have something like 6,000 employees.
6,000?
Why do you need 6,000?
Exactly. What? Snapchat. I'm not using the Snapchat. I have never used the Snapchat. I have no idea how to even use it. How many employees? Almost 6,000. I always wondered, like, what do people do on those companies? Like, for example, Instagram. In Instagram, how many employees? No way. That many? No way. 18,000. No way. No, that's more reasonable. 450. That's unreasonable, that many employees. It's maybe the whole Meta. Meta, how many employees? Meta, how many employees? What? 86,000? That's insane. What the hell are you doing there? Like, 86,000. It's like a small city. If you want to take the whole Meta, you can put them in like small city. Spanish? Why would I open it in Spanish? But look how they grow. From basically in the last 2 years, from 58 till 86. Now, of course we see layoffs. Of course, if you grow like this, the thing is that the platform doesn't grow that much, I guess. I mean, maybe. I'm not sure. Does Facebook even grow? That's their main business, right? Facebook, what else? Instagram, WhatsApp is not monetized. I have no idea what those people are all doing there. I don't think that that's true. But if this is true, I have no idea what they're doing, because Instagram doesn't have that many, like, it's not innovating. Like, what they do, they just sometimes every couple of, let's say every 6 months, they just change the UI of the Instagram, and that's it. And that's Slack. How many employees? 2,000. Like 2,000 employees of Slack. When was the last meaningful update that the Slack did? Like, I've been using Slack for the last 4 years. It stayed the same, except of the UI change that they did like a couple of months ago. That's it. It stayed exactly the same. What are those 2,000 people doing there? Of course, we see layoffs. Like, if you have 2,000 people working on an app where you don't have any updates, yeah, of course you're gonna have layoffs. here they're counting even the legal person that writes the terms and conditions, the cleaners of the office. Yeah, that's true, but like 2,000 people, you like, that's even if we take that only 30% of 2,000 people, let's say 20%, that's 500 people. Like even if 20% or 30% of them are developers, that's like still a lot. But you do need, I mean, quite to be frank, like you do need a lot of infrastructure support, right? So you do need a lot of, on Slack, it's a cloud based, right? So you do need a lot of people who understand how cloud works. You need a lot of those things. But still, that's like really a lot. And of course there are layoffs then.
1,000 employees. I could understand having.
I bet that each of this company can cut 5% of its employees, and that's gonna have zero impact. Like look at the Twitter X is still running, even I don't know how many people Elon Musk fired, like 80%. I bet you can do the same with most biggest product-based companies.
Having a few dozen programmers, but they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of programmers, not to mention all their legal and everything else. So what we're seeing is a hyper specialization of roles. And companies are doing this to prop up stock values. The core here is it's a type of invisible and legal fraud. If you keep growing your company by just hiring more people, and then investors and people that frankly don't know a lot about tech think that's necessary, they see that as positive indicators. So your goal, if you're Mark Zuckerberg, is to make your company as valuable as possible to stock investors. Not to the public. Facebook doesn't even need to make very much money at all. The key to Facebook being valuable, and more specifically Mark Zuckerberg being valuable, is doing what investors want and what lenders want. And they want to see positive growth constantly. In the industry, we call this employee farming. So the idea behind employee farming is as long as you keep growing your worker base, it looks like your company's growing. It looks like you need to hire those people. And therefore, again, bigger company means bigger stock valuations. It means lenders and investors see you as this better growing big future company, even if it's not. And this is ultimately what's leading to this hyper specialization, because they have to keep creating new roles. And when you look at these videos, I'm sure you've all seen them by now, people mocking them constantly on the internet. But you look at these videos of these girls and guys who work in this hyper specialized role, posting videos on TikTok, and they post videos on Twitter of like my day at Twitter, or a day in the life of a Twitter HR engineer or something like that. And it's basically the girl or guy just drinking coffee, hanging around, chilling out. They show themselves sleeping in these pods that they have now. They're really not doing much. And again, this is the result of hyper specialization. They were basically just creating BS jobs, and now you have a bunch of people sitting around who don't work. Like once you have 100 programmers, you're done. You're not doing anything more useful beyond that. Maybe you could have people in specialized roles outside of the tech. Again, people like legal and HR, but we're seeing jobs for button engineers. Like literally, they want you to specialize, not just in programming, but specialize in making a button. Do you know how many people work at Snapchat, for example? Snapchat has, like I said earlier, about 6,000 employees, but they have over 400 employees that just work on UI. That's it. They do nothing but UI. The entire UI of Snapchat could easily be done by a handful of professionals, if not less, if not one person probably. If you've ever actually used Snapchat, you know it's awful anyways. The whole UI is just a complete disaster. There is no reason to have 400 people working on the UI. They don't even have 400 buttons. There's something like 30 or 40 buttons on the whole app. That's more than 10 people for each button that the app has and each function. But they do it because the company is forced into this cycle of infinite growth. And then other companies are doing it, so they have to compete, or else they look like they're small and shrinking, and they lose value in investors as people port elsewhere.
Wait. Let me put the focus here because it distracted me with this pim sound.
But we're just seeing massive hyper specialization for roles that probably shouldn't even exist to begin with. And when we start to look at that problem, we start to see why tech companies are doing massive layoffs. A very big reason for this
no.
is the Catalyst event, which was, of course, Elon buying Twitter. I'm going to get into that in just a minute too. So now as we start to see negative indicators in stock value, AI, future growth, things like that, especially, look at Meta. They tried to do this whole metaverse thing that failed, lost billions of dollars. Now they know, okay, we need to recoup some of that money. And the best way to do it is to start firing these people or doing layoffs of them
I don't think they failed. They have quite a good product, don't they? Like they have the last thing that I saw is Zuckerberg and who and Friedman is it Lex? I just know he's called Lex. They did a podcast in this metaverse and it was awesome. And it was awesome. Like look at this. Let's search for it. Lex Zuckerberg. Yeah. Here we go. Look at this.
With Mark Zuckerberg inside the metaverse. Mark and I are hundreds of miles apart from each other in physical space, but it feels like we're in the same room because we appear to each other as photorealistic codec avatars in 3D with spatial audio. This technology is incredible, and I think it's the future of how human beings connect to each other in a deeply meaningful way on the internet.
I agree because the way we connect now with meetings, it sucks. Have you ever, if you ever had a day where you have 10 meetings, you're exhausted by those meetings. If you just meet with 10 people, you're not exhausted, you're okay. But with having these meetings, there's something about this Zoom meetings that really draining. So I think that should change in some way.
that we never really needed to begin with. So a lot of people have this sort of idea that, programmers are all just getting fired now. No, they're not. Good programmers are not getting fired, not predominantly at least, except maybe at Unity, but that's a different topic. But the idea here is that if you're a good programmer, you're going to have a stable job. You're needed. There's tons of companies that are still growing, that are still bringing in new programmers. You don't need to worry. You only need to worry if you're one of the people that's getting hired in something super hyper specialized. And that's why I still recommend to people to be generalists. Be a good programmer who knows lots of frameworks, who knows lots of languages, who understands computer science intimately, because that makes you a valuable resource. They're not just going to fire you or get rid of you. You have an intrinsic value when you bring something to the table beyond just being able to make one tiny button on the interface. When you really fundamentally understand how apps work and are designed, when you understand core architecture, you are never, ever going to be out of work. And if you do get fired because a company goes under or something, you're going to find work really fast as well. So you shouldn't worry about that. I see too many people panicking in the industry right now. The people getting fired are, in almost every case I've seen, the jobs that never should have existed to begin with. And I don't mean to insult those people. Many of those people are generalists that ended up being forced into a specialization just to get a job because these companies don't want to hire generalists, right? These companies want to hire people in specific subsets because then they don't complain. They don't whine about wanting to do better, bigger things. They get comfortable in the role. They get comfortable in the fact that they don't have to do very much. And I think that that's just convenient for the industry. It's convenient for this type of mass hiring fraud, which is what I consider it. I know they just call it employee farming, but I call it employee fraud because ultimately this is bad for the companies because they do major layoffs and then they lose stock value because people think the company's shrinking. So it's bad for them and it's bad for employees because you never feel like you're stable. You feel like you work on things that don't matter. So you're just a cog in the well-oiled machine, if you want to even call it that, more like a brick in the wall. You're a brick in the wall of this machine, like at Meta or Facebook, and you just feel like you don't matter. You feel like your job is what, I think Joe Rogan had a podcast on this actually, called BS Jobs. But that's ultimately what's led to this is way over hiring and super specified jobs that they don't.
Is it the thing, BS Jobs by BS Jobs, Joe Rogan? Let's see, what's that? Let's have a look at this.
But also, if you really think about the fact that we are in a world where people have to go to work to do a job that, by the way, man, if there is a dude you need to get on this podcast, and there's a book that you would love. David Graeber wrote this book called Bullshit Jobs. This guy is a fucking genius, man. And this book, Bullshit Jobs, breaks down the phenomena of how many people are working in jobs that don't do anything for the world or the company they're working for. And it's not like this judgmental thing where he's like, yeah, that's a bullshit job. You're a blah, blah, blah. He's like an anthropologist, so he's very precise. But one of the qualifications for your job to be a bullshit job is that it's really kind of a worthless job. It's not really doing anything. And like companies have gotten so fucking big that they end up having like departments or people running departments or extra employees that don't really need to be there at all. And they have to pretend to work. That's what he writes about. He writes that if you really want to torture a person, not only give them like the job of like, pouring a glass of water in an empty glass and pouring it back, but then add to it that they have to deceive their boss into thinking that they're like doing an important job or they lose their job. So not only are these like some corporations and companies scanning your piss to see if you're taking a substance that is allowing you to connect with home, what you actually are, they are also demanding that you spend many hours a day lying to them that you're doing work that you're not doing. Like if you're fucking efficient, and this is another thing Graeber writes about. Forgive me, David Graeber, if in any way I misconstrue this. I read your writings stoned, but the other fucking element to it that is absolutely atrocious and fucking horrible is that these substances are connecting us to home. They don't want us to be in those states, and they're asking us to fucking lie all day. And you know what psychedelic means? The etymology of psychedelic?
No.
It means mind manifesting or soul manifesting, right? So a psychedelic connects us potentially with the truth, what we are, our identity, right? And these companies, they're asking us to lie, to be the opposite of our identities, to wear a suit or some kind of dress code.
Oh yeah, this is why I don't like Joe Rogan, because of this. Like, he has such a concentration of conspiracy, psychedelics, drugs, whatever, things that are so strange for me. Like this guy, I don't know, like he speaks right things about the BS jobs, but about this thing, like substances that connect us to home. What the hell is that?
And to sit in a desk where, because you're efficient, you get your job done in 45 minutes, and for the next 6 hours, you got to sit and type and pretend that you're working, knowing you're a person, and knowing that this is like unethical. But if you like go and tell your boss, hey man, I don't really have much to do, you might get fired. The boss might, like in the book, he cites one person because he did like a survey, and he cites one person who went to her boss and she's like, hey, I can finish my job in 2 hours. Can I have other stuff to do? And her boss is like, don't talk about that. Stay quiet about that.
Oh.
Yeah, man. That's the fucking world we're in right now. Because of automation, there's less to do. Computers are making shit fast. Why are we're working the exact same amount of time we were when there were no computers?
But you have to be there to get paid.
And you have to act like you're doing something or they can you.
Yeah. How many people right now are doing just that while they're listening to this?
A lot.
A lot.
And by the way,
if you had a guess, what percentage of people are listening right now that are really supposed to be doing some bullshit job, and they're kind of sitting in front of their keyboard with earbuds on, just barely paying attention, trying not to get caught looking at porn?
Yeah. Probably all over the planet, over 1 million. Over 1 million in the workforce, probably.
When do you think companies had
Like million is like nothing.
to put in rules that you can't look at porn at work? Like that wasn't a thing in the 70s. It wasn't a thing in the 80s.
Right.
It wasn't a thing in the 90s.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, you could just find porn online. and people, well, they have a work computer that's hooked up to the internet. Like, when did companies start going, oh, yeah, we didn't know about that. Yeah, you can't look at that.
Dude, I mean, I'm sure it started with like Penthouse, right? Like when they had Penthouse, like Penthouse magazine, like when you had fucking like
Yeah, for sure.
you
For
couldn't
sure. It
bring your
started with
you couldn't bring
magazines.
your Penthouse, your fucking Hustler to work.
That's true, but but looking at something online is so much easier than going to the store and getting a Hustler. Like, the access is universal, instantaneous. Everyone has the ability to just go and download it.
You know, if we're gonna like ask questions that are impossible to answer, like how many people right now do you think listening to the podcast are in their bullshit job jerking off to porn while they listen?
At least one dude.
Yeah.
For sure. That's what dudes do.
Yeah, I mean, because
They can get away with it. They jerk off. Especially a guy with a bad job who could find a way to jerk off somewhere.
Yeah.
Just let me just get 5 minutes in this bathroom and jerk off just so I don't have to think about this stupid fucking job.
dude, come on, like
That's like sexual assault.
I don't think
Jerking off in an office?
not in the
What if you scream?
if
And
like
everyone knows. You're going to go, like, hey, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to jerk off. When I come, I scream. That's sexual assault.
oh well that is. I fucking feel like
Okay, this is why I don't like Joe Rogan, because he invites such weird guests, and of course he also has like normal guests, but this is not very useful for me. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't enjoy those type of conversations on the podcast, but I guess there are people into it, right? But it's true. Yeah, I've been there. Like, I've been there. I had. I'm gonna tell a story. So I had a job, my first job. I applied for the company. They were called Software Factory. So Software Factory. So they supposed to do software, right? Turns out they were doing IoT software, and this IoT software, first it's boring because the project that I was on, it's supposed to collect data from a lot of sensors on some kind of Bavarian machines sitting somewhere and doing some grain or some whatever. Like, that's like the most boring project that you can imagine. I was put on this project, and I asked them, so basically the whole task was to collect the data and put it into the system. So basically parse the data. So I asked them, hey, can you give me an example of a data? And they said, we don't have it. I was like, okay, so where can I find what I actually need to put into the system? And they said, oh, we don't know. Let us make a meeting in 3 months. They made a meeting. So when I joined the company, when I joined the project, they put me on the project. They made a meeting in 3 months. In 3 months to get me the data going that I need to completing the project. And I said to them, okay, let's wait. And then we had the meeting. And when we went to the meeting, turns out the guy who made the meeting didn't have the data. So we have made a meeting in the next 3 months with another person. And all of this time, I've been working. I couldn't just go home. I couldn't just say and like, I don't know, go and watch YouTube. I couldn't just go and study. No, I was supposed to work, and I was supposed to put hours into the system, and then I would get paid based on the amount of hours that I put into the system. So if I put 20 hours into the system, I get paid for 20 hours. If I put 16, I get paid for 16. Well, guess what? I don't want to put 16. I want to get paid for 4 hours more, but I don't have any meaningful work to do. The only thing that I could do is go and research the whole system that we have to do. Go research the programs. I wrote basically everything that I could without knowing the data that I'm supposed to parse. And if you're a developer, you're right, because you don't know the structure of the data. So you don't know what you're gonna need to do. You don't know the structure, you don't know the data. You only know the database where you're supposed to put the data, and you only know that you're supposed to do it in this program. And that's it. So that was my BS job, and I worked there for 4 months, and I didn't really do anything meaningful in these 4 months. Is the stream down? Is the stream down? I think it was down for a second, right? But I hope you heard my story about the BS jobs. Or about the BS job that I was working. Ah, look. Still on. Still on. Nice. Day 31. Am I still live on Twitch? Fucking internet. Yeah, I am. Alright, that was my rant about all these BS jobs. Do you like Andrew? What do you mean, Andrew? Andrew Tate? If you mean the Andrew Tate, I don't care. Like, I wouldn't say like. He exists, which is good. Doesn't have any influence around my life, so I don't really care about him. I love the marketing he's doing though. I mean, he's marketing genius. The stream was lagging. Yeah, fuck the internet. Sorry for that. Think it was a bit loud. Yeah, so that's my rant. So I spent on that on all of these things an hour, but I think it was worth it. Now to actual job. Now let's do some productive work. I know that this type of streams, they are a bit more entertaining, but that doesn't bring my goal near, right? I mean, we all should learn from those guys like Andrew Tate, even if they are full of shit. I mean, we don't know about Andrew Tate, right? But definitely not the type of guy I would like to follow, or the mindset that I would like to take. Just because of so much negativity. Like, in general, I want to stay positive. Like, I don't know, I just like being positive in my life. I don't like having any negative, and he is super negative, right? So he's basically, his whole thing is that I mean, he has so much negativity in the way he speaks. He criticizes everything and so on. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't wanna be involved too much with those things. Okay, so now we need to create actually cases for the triggers. It's called practice cases. For this part. So basically, I don't know how many should I create. I would say 10 would be nice. And the way I'm gonna create those cases will be first business requirement. Second, the solution. That's it. Business requirement and solution. That's it. But before I actually do it, let me get some coffee. I just see here coffee in front of me and I don't drink it. I really should stop drinking that much coffee. And then I also, not only I drink a lot of coffee, I know how many cups of coffee I drink. I also show all of this, how I drink that many cups of coffee on the stream, and then I show you a bad example. Maybe at some point I'm gonna do coffee-free stream. So I'm gonna try to be without coffee for a week. And if I fail, I'm gonna need to do something. I don't know what. But I'm so addicted at this point. Alright. Now we can continue with actual work. So the way I want to create the tasks is that I want to get help of ChatGPT, and I have here task buddy, which helps me to restructure the tasks, but it should also help me to create the tasks. Wait, do I have another one? Yeah, this one, homework for beginners. Okay. I want to create 10 different use cases for simple triggers. The cases should be solvable in just one trigger. It should involve trigger for following objects: leads, accounts, contacts, and opportunities. All of the cases should be beginner friendly, not containing any integration or advanced topics. Let's think step by step and first outline what the cases are. Let's do the ChatGPT. Let's go. If I can do those 10 things today, those 10 cases today, that would be awesome. So, I mean, this is my plan for today. I'm gonna do the 10 cases, and I'm gonna upload everything into database, and then we are done with writing everything for the website. Okay, one thing that I should... Yeah, let's finish. I want to make the triggers only using standard fields. standard fields. Because I don't want my students to go and create fields in the system. And I already have some cases, and I'm gonna steal some cases. I think I only have like 3 in total. Let's see. Triggers. Oh wow, I already have 10. Huh. That's nice. Just need the answer. Okay. Okay, let's write it. This is I have already so much material, and I'm yeah. Okay. Send it to your mentor. Okay, let's do it like this. Case 1. Write a trigger that creates a follow-up task for an account if an opportunity is lost. That's good. Case 2. Case 3. Case 4. Case 5. I wish Notion had some kind of autopilot. Really missing autopilot. I'm missing autopilot in any time, anywhere where I need to type anything. Case 7. Those are all good trigger cases, and I already tested all of them, so I know that they work. Okay, 9 cases. So let's say we only need to get like a few new test cases. Let's see. Of course, I need to make sure that I don't have the same test cases. Okay, let's see. Gonna change the music to something more relaxing. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, I mean, I see some of them are good. Let's ask ChatGPT to make it more how should I say it? More descriptive? No? Those are some good things here. I like it. Descriptive is descriptive. Word? Okay. Case 11. Case number 12. I mean, we're gonna also need to check all of them. So even if I have now approximately, some of them still gonna change. Especially this one, I'm not sure that it's actually possible. I think Salesforce formats this on its own, and we cannot really have any influence around it. That's what I think. basically when we have an account, so we have an account, and then whenever we deactivate this account, we're gonna set all the opportunities to closed lost automatically, which is would be a strange way of doing that, but why not? Some companies that definitely would be doing something like this. Okay, so I know that the first 9 are tested. I only need to test this 10. And let me write, here's what I end up with. Can you come up with 2 more? So that we have nice 15 cases, because 13 is somehow not the number that I want to end up the cases count. Oh, that's good one. Okay, so here it's trying to use notifications, but it's a bit too advanced for people who taking. So notifications, we didn't cover notification since, and it means we cannot use notifications. Notifications. Anything with notifications? For the last one. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Nice. This is actually a really good one. I like this one. Okay, so let's make them bold and remove bold here. Remove here as well. Nice, it looks really good. And again, it was much quicker than I initially thought. Hamza, hello. Right, now we need to actually test them. Let's go and try to test them. Let's see if it's actually a case of such thing as a. Let's see. Contact trigger. You know what? Let me maybe do it. Should I do it in VS Code? Yeah, let me do it in VS Code because it's gonna be so difficult to do it not in VS Code. It's not gonna be so difficult, but it will be a bit of pain. And then you can see coding in VS Code in Salesforce for the first time. Contact trigger. And in my work we probably already have it, so let me retrieve this whole thing. Up. Okay, I think I just had another problem with the internet. Oh my god, I do need to fix the internet. Now it seems to be working again. Now the Salesforce doesn't work. Nice. Oh, come on, Salesforce. Contact. Look at this, at least we could deploy. Okay, nice. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy those things and I'm gonna just put it here. And this is gonna be an example how ChatGPT can actually help with, not ChatGPT, just Copilot. So I'm gonna write here just a structure, right? So if trigger is and then it gives me the whole boilerplate, and then now I just modify it a little bit. And this is before and is update. It's before update and is let's do insert. Let's just focus on the insert before insert. Yep. Just focus on the before insert. Let's see. Deploy. And while it's deploying, I'm gonna go to the org and check that it actually works. Let's see. Let's say, oh, yeah, please fill in the mailing. Yeah, nice. So it works, and then we fill out everything and we leave one empty and it still doesn't work. So now we need to fill out blah 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 blah, and now we can save it. Nice. So it works as expected. Nice. Okay, so this one is done. This is about contacts. Alright, so this is gonna be this account, this later. Let's do this one. Now let's also make this one. Okay, then if contact and then the next. Oh, that makes it way too complicated. You know what? It is actually way too complicated. I didn't see it coming, so I didn't really think it through. And of course, it is a little bit too complicated to think. So I don't think that we should include this one. Yep, let's just delete it. That's fine. We have enough cases. Okay. Customer, that's about accounts, that's about leads, that's about accounts. Okay, so I think we're good with contacts. Let's create now the account. Create account triggers, and I'm gonna retrieve here. For sure we have some. Okay, contact. Now let me take this trigger and let me put it here as a solution. Code. Here solution. Okay, so count trigger. Okay, in the count trigger we have something, doesn't matter what. After insert, after update as well. Okay, let's see if that's gonna work. I'm not sure what are the values for the type pick list though. It does work, but let's see what are the values for the type pick list. Setup. Accounts. Type. Direct, channel, and partner. Let's say it's gonna be technology partner. No, let's do technology partner here. And healthcare is gonna be what? Customer. Let's do prospect. Okay, now let me update this one. Technology partner. Technology partner, and prospect. Okay, let's see if that trigger is gonna work. And it should be, wait, it should be before insert and before update. And let me also enclose it in the if statement. If trigger is before insert and before update. And of course, it's also not the best practice for triggers. So whoever watches this, if you're watching it for learning how to write triggers, it's not the way to learn how to write triggers. The actual way would be with trigger handlers, but that's gonna do the job. This is what we're here for. So we're here for writing before update, before insert, and before update. Yep, just to be correct. And closing parentheses, deploy. Accounts, new account, type, not type, industry, finance. Let's search for finance. Finance, save. customer direct. Okay, let's create a new account. Blah blah blah. Industry, technology, save, technology partner, and blah 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 blah. Healthcare. Wait. Where's the healthcare? Prospect. Nice, nice. Okay, it worked. Awesome. So this trigger is correct as well. Solution. Whenever is customer inactive, change the status of all. Okay, this is. I definitely know that this is possible. Let me ask ChatGPT because I don't want to type all of this thing on my own. I have. Let's create a new one. Classic. I have following trigger, and I'm gonna show this trigger up. Can you adjust this trigger so that it solves following problem? Following case. Enter. Seems like it's approximately the right solution. Let's see. The only one thing that I'm using different spacing. Sorry, ChatGPT, I'm gonna need to butcher it completely. Okay, let's see. Also select statement. At least it writes with the right best practices in terms of the styling, so it's good. Let's see, accounts for update. Wait, what? When accounts changes to customer inactive. New account. New account, new account, new account. What's the problem? I never understood. What's the problem to just spell whole word? Old account. I know the ChatGPT is based on how people write it on the, basically in the public. But what's the problem? Like, why people don't spell the whole thing? It definitely increases readability. So if you're writing a variable, it doesn't do anything bad if you just write 4 letters more, right? But it increases readability so much. Yeah, so here we're checking that it is now, the type is inactive, but previously it was not inactive. Then accounts for update, we add them to accounts for update. Then if it's not empty, then we are searching for everything that is not in closed all the opportunities. We iterate through the opportunities and we update. Yep, that seems to be correct. Let's see if that's gonna deploy. Yep, it deploys. Now for this account, I'm gonna create a new opportunity and I'm gonna call it blah 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 blah. Doesn't really matter. Stage gonna be qualification, save. And new blah 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 blah, stage, negotiation, close date, oh my god, close date, where's the close date? Doesn't matter. And one more opportunity for blah 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 blah, and stage will be closed lost. You know what? Closed won. Close date. Closed won. And I'm gonna modify the code here so that it doesn't take and stage name not equal. And stage name not equal closed lost or closed won. Deploy. Because we don't wanna put to the closed lost those opportunities that were won, because that's already done. I mean, in Salesforce there are basically two end stages for opportunity: closed lost and closed won. So we only want to take all of these who were not closed and close them. Okay, and now if we modify it from what? From type to... Wait, we don't have such a type. That's the catch. That's the catch. We don't have such a type. Customer inactive. Yeah, we don't have such a type. Let's see how can we do it in other way around. Ownership, public, private, subordinate. Customer priority, no. SLA, no. Upsell opportunity, no. I mean, we can, of course, we can say here important add as a pick list field. Okay, again this song. Add customer inactive as a pick list value for the pick list field. Important. And that's what we're gonna do as well. We're gonna go and edit the object and pick list and type new customer inactive, save, and now we should have this field customer, and probably we need to refresh it. Let's see, I think we need to refresh it with a cache update, refresh. I feel like I want to do one stream that's gonna be completely only Salesforce, because you see how it is much easier for me to do Salesforce than anything else. So maybe at some point I should do that. Okay, account. Now the type, customer inactive, save, and the opportunities were not updated. No, wait, closed one. Okay, that was closed one. Okay, this is still in qualification, so that they were not updated. What is the reason for that? Well, we don't need, actually, we don't need this if statement check. But what's the reason? Okay, let's debug. Let's say system.debug ops to update deploy, and I'm gonna open the developer console so that we can see the logs. Okay, count name, count type, customer inactive, save, success. I think the trigger is just not firing. Why are you not firing? Ah, because I didn't include it here. Huh, okay. After update. That's why it's not firing. Okay. Okay, so prospect, customer inactive. Still. Wait, why is it still prospect? Ah, okay, why is it still prospect? Okay, because healthcare is I see. Wait. And it was not even deployed before. Okay. Before insert. Before update. And before update. Let's see. So I'm gonna remove from the last one. Why do you use Microsoft Edge over Chrome? Because Microsoft Edge is the best browser currently on the market. And it's Chromium based, so it has all the features on all the Chrome extensions and all the stuff that you used on Chrome, and currently I think now is the best browser. Do you feel like it's more lightweight? No, I don't think it's more lightweight, but it has, I don't know, the navigation is much better, much smoother. The overall experience, I think, is just so much nicer. You know what? I don't need this part. Huh? I don't need this part because I'm gonna do anyway separate. Like, look at this. It's so easy to navigate here, and this is so awesome. But it's like Arc browser, right? So if you have ever tried Arc, I like Arc, but I like Edge more than Arc. Let's see, prospecting, customer inactive. Oh, now it works. Nice. Basically, the code was mostly correct, just few adjustments. Okay. This one's done. Automatically set the priority of the leads based on the company size field. Let's do it quick. Create Apex trigger. Lead trigger. And let's go and say, can you solve this one as well? Also, is Edge optimized for M1 chips? No idea. But I also don't think that that Arc is optimized for. I think if you really want for something that is optimized, you should use Safari. But the Safari sucks. I tried to use it, it sucks. Okay, so this is the lead trigger that... Okay, company size. Is there such thing as a field of company size on the lead object? Let's see, or maybe something remotely similar to the lead, to the company size lead. There's company size. Nope, there's no such thing as company size. Haha. Oh, let's do the industry then. No, let me go back to this one, and here, right? This case, assume that there's company company size field, but no such standard field. Can we rework this case so that it uses standard fields? Annual revenue where on the is there such thing as the annual revenue on leads? Annual revenue, nice, and that's currency, nice. Based on annual revenue field. I reworked it so that it uses standard fields. I think I already have such a case. No, actually I don't. Okay, nice. So yeah, that seems to be correct. And here I can say if annual revenue is equal null or this one. And that's gonna be already a good check for null value deploy. A lead trigger, damn it. I need to create another file because I misspelled it a little bit. Create Apex lead trigger. Alright. Oh. Hey, give me back. Deploy. What's going on? Lead trigger, what's the file mismatch? Rename. Lead trigger. Rename. Lead trigger. Okay. Will you be happy now? Deploy. Yes, now it's happy. Good. Let's go and try to create some leads. What is this? Intelligence view? Salesforce. What kind of innovation is that? Okay, new. Blah blah blah. Company doesn't matter. Lead source. Annual revenue. Let's make like this. What is 10 million? Let's make it less. Let's make it 100,000. Rating, nothing. And rating set to low. Good. Clone, instead of creating just cloning the new one, let's add here 10 and it's gonna be 1 million and it should go into the medium. Medium and oops, not sharing, don't care about sharing. Clone and 10 millions. 10 million should be high. Still medium because we need probably 2 millions and 1 here. High, yeah, that's right. Okay, let's, yeah, another thing, we don't need this one because it's already checked in the previous one, so we don't need this one. And equal, like this. That would be the right solution, and deploy this thing to the org. Okay, this lead is done. Ensure that account names format. Okay, let's. Do I have account trigger? Yes, I do have account trigger. This one. And I'm gonna ask ChatGPT as well so that it's a bit quicker. Can you also solve this one? What's up? Here code. And for the count trigger, I'm gonna remove this one. I don't really need this one. Okay, let's already start writing what they write. That's a bit stupid what they have, but anyway. Copilot's failing me a bit. Alright, if... Can you write it in one trigger without any helper classes? I think I think I can just quicker write myself. Count name not equal null. Then we're gonna create a list of strings. String. Yep, words. Let's call it words. Words. And let's call it string. Capitalized. Name will be equal to this one. Then we're gonna iterate through this, and that's bullshit, not like this. Capitalized word will be word capitalize this, and trim count name capitalize name. Yep, I think that's good. We can even do something. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think that should work already. Okay, let me go back here, and this is on accounts. So if I create here global tech, was it deployed? Yep, it was deployed. Global tech industries. It's automatically capitalized. Nice. So it works. I was almost quicker than ChatGPT. And definitely, let's check. Let's compare the solutions, me and ChatGPT. Ha, my solution is better. I'm not doing the substring. I am using capitalize because I know that such thing as capitalize method, it exists on the string. Nice, I'm really proud of it. A lot of people joined. Welcome everyone who joined. Look at this. I'm done with this. That was much quicker than I expected. Finish triggers. Bam. Done. Triggers done. Now I'm gonna need to focus on those things. Uploading to WordPress and uploading to database. Which will be a little bit painful, but I don't need to think for this type of task. Just basically gonna be doing this passively. But for now, guys, I have a meeting now with one of my students, so I'm gonna need to go. But tomorrow I'll be streaming at approximately the same time. And thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, and see you everyone tomorrow.